As you're building your startup, you should realize that one of the most important things you should be doing is focusing on revenue generation. And as you generate your first revenue, it is important that you extend it to multiple sources of revenue. Talk to your customers, talk to your teammates, brainstorm, talk to your mentors, and figure out how can you have multiple channels of revenue. And within those channels, you should also have recurring revenues. That means monthly subscription or annual maintenance fee, something you can charge that you can depend on fixed incomes on a regular basis. Now, why is this important? Imagine a flight, right? When an engine of a flight goes on fire, it still can run on one engine and do crash landing and save lives. But when both the engines are on fire, it's bad news. Similarly, with a startup, you should not depend on one revenue stream. Figure out a way to have multiple revenue streams. And another reason why you should do that is financial planning helps you figure out planning your startup. People think about product development, people think about marketing, people think about sales, but what they don't realize is if you don't set a goal, then all of those things are purposeless. They're going here and there. If you set a goal that, okay, in the month of January, I'm going to have 1 lakh revenue, and 10,000 is going to come from revenue source A, 20,000 from revenue source B, 50,000 from revenue source C, etc., etc. Then you can figure out, you can back calculate and see, okay, what would it take to make that happen? How much cost should go in to make that revenue happen? And as you know, revenue minus cost is profit. So cost should be lesser so that you are somewhat profitable. So that means your customer acquisition cost should be calculated based on the revenue target or goal that you have put for that month. Now, what is your cost of customer acquisition? It's the Facebook ad, what it charges for the conversion fee. It's the graphic designer who created the Facebook ad. It is your time. It is your salesperson who might call the lead and convert them. All of these things put together defines your customer acquisition cost. Now you're going to see not just the revenue you're creating for the month, but one customer. What is the lifetime value of your customer? So if your customer stays in your company for 3 to 5 years, maybe more, how many things can you upsell, cross-sell? What does that mean? That means you bought a t-shirt, why don't you buy a jacket? Why don't you buy a scarf, right? So on Amazon, when you buy something, you'll notice that's what they do. You bought this, other people are buying this together, something else that is related product. So that kind of thing, if you do, you have to figure out how can you take one customer who has made one purchase, and research says if they have made one purchase, they're 60 times more likely to make a second purchase. So that means you need to figure out which of the revenue streams you want to put them under, right? So that you can get more out of each customer over a lifetime value. Then you can afford to spend more on customer acquisition cost because you know that over the next 3 to 5 years, you will be able to pull back that cost as well as a lot of profit. So planning your revenue streams helps you kind of back calculate, go back and figure out what all will be required to reach that revenue goal. And then product development, marketing, sales, all operations, everything can fall in place based on that particular goal. Otherwise, you're just going here and there without a purpose. So be very focused on revenue, not just one, but multiple sources of revenue, and figure out how you're going to fulfill each source of revenue and hopefully not just reach them, but supersede those goals that you set for yourself. If you have questions, ask me below in the comment section or WhatsApp the number in the description, and we will have a one-on-one Zoom session. I would love to help you figure out the revenue model for your startup.